What up, you skinny blips? You're watching Potato Salad Radio 88.1.
Help me!
You know what I mean?
Help!
Skinny blips. Splatter. Skinny blips.
Skinny blips. Potato salad. Potato salad, y'all!
Why do you think it is that, and maybe it was just geography and circumstance, I suppose, but that we didn't get a strong Christian method, like voice in early rap too? Because while there was a lot of, Muslim influence in the early aspects of it, I mean, Christian churches weren't empty, and those kids were still milling around the Bronx and wherever. So
that's true.
Why do you think that was? It because that was already the accepted mainstream, also, and that some of what was being taught was actually empowerment on a level that also fit with kind of the rest of hip hop?
That's exactly it. I mean, what the Nation of Islam and the Gods and Earths offered to especially the black community in New York, in Philadelphia, in a lot of northern urban centers was an alternative to Christianity, which you got to talk historically. So if you're talking about a lot of people leaving the South, shrugging off the white man's religion, which was Christianity, this was a tool of enslavement at some point. So for a lot of northern communities, an alternative to that was appealing. And so you did have a lot of people subscribe to that. Certainly there were Christians and things like that. But in terms of the influence of, the cool guys who were hanging around the hip hop shows and hanging around the parks, they were down with kind of the knowledge of self and the, each one teach one, stand in a circle, drop science, in the cipher. All of that came from, the 5% Nation and then the Nation of Islam, which, as part of their belief system, have this teaching component. So the act of rapping itself is conducive to what they do, because part of what they do is you have to pass on knowledge. You have to do it in different ways.
Right.
And so, I mean, really, in terms of the geography of it, it's interesting because it's later on, for a couple of reasons, and one of them is geography, Christianity does become the predominant religion in hip-hop expression, and it is today, undeniably. But there was a time when rap was really, as I said, kind of an oppositional thing. It was the antithesis of the mainstream. And if mainstream American culture is connected to Christianity, albeit unofficially, but, for practical purposes, rap having this kind of Islamic identity, even if it's not a traditional Sunni Muslim kind of thing, it's a very different kind of Islam. It's a different
very
interpretation.
American Islam.
It is. It's very American. It's very African American. It's very different from
very urban
traditional Islam. But nevertheless, it was kind of something in opposition to the mainstream. So it really kind of lent itself to the character of hip hop just as is. It was in opposition to the mainstream. The mainstream is, bright lights, big city, Christian undertones. The underground fighting back to that was, no, we have a completely different perspective. Right. And the fact that it was Afrocentric, the fact that it was about, black empowerment and knowledge of self and all of that, that helped the golden age be what it was, because it was about, consciousness and knowledge and know who your history is, know who your heroes are, all that stuff. So it really did relate to geography and just it connected with the community in a way that Christianity at the time just couldn't.